Hello, my name is Tarina, and today I'm here to introduce our study of choice. Today we have chosen the article, If You Record It, Some Won't Come. Our focus was based on two primary outcomes, student achievement and attendance. To do this, we posed several questions. Does having access to video lecture recordings affect student attendance compared to those without access? How do these recordings influence students' course grades? Does attendance mediate the differences in student achievement between the two groups? What do students think of these lecture recordings and how do they use them in their studies? Do they replace or complement class attendance? And what are the benefits associated with using these resources? Ultimately, our study aims to provide valuable insights into integrating video lecture recordings into traditional introductory psychology classes.
Hi there, my name is Ford Lamis, and this is my section on the introduction into what was done of the study. If you record it, some won't come. I will be talking about the organization and the predictions of the study and go over them. The first part is the organization of the study. There are two classes for introductory psychology, one on Tuesday morning and one on Thursday afternoon. The Tuesday morning class did not have any lecture recordings available to them and were not offered any. The second class on Thursday was offered lecture recordings and was measured to see if they enjoyed those lecture recordings and if they found beneficial to their study and if they would like the rest of their classes in university to be recorded. The predictions of this study was based off of a previous study done where achievement was hindered by lecture recordings being available and therefore hinting at the fact that there is a positive relationship between attendance and achievement. Therefore, this study aims to find that relationship between attendance and achievement and seeing if the treatment group that was offered these recordings, whether or not they were at a disadvantage and therefore would get worse grades and be less productive than the first class. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Fitzwalter, and I will be presenting the methods that we used in this study. In this study, they had 141 students, 82 women and 59 men from two sections of an introductory psychology course. Both sections had the same instructor and met on Tuesdays and Thursdays. One section met in the late morning and the other in mid-afternoon. The procedure for the study involved the instructor using a system called Tegrity to record lectures, and video recording started in the 6th week of semester. The instructor told the mid-afternoon class, the lecture capture class, that lectures would be recorded and available the week after. Attendance was taken daily and class participation was based off group work. Lectures were identical, held in the same room, and slides with minimal notes were provided. The measures for the study involved at the end of the semester, lecture capture students answered a questionnaire that asked about class attendance, access to recordings, note-taking, personal and community benefits, while the other class did a standard course evaluation. Two attendance measures were used through a sign-in sheet that was matched to coursework. Firstly, total percentage of students present for each class, and secondly, percentage of total classes attended by each student. Achievement was measured by the final course percentage, calculated based on points earned in class activities, research participation, critical thinking assignments, and exams. Non-participation was measured by how many students completed fewer than half of the class activities or skipped at least one exam.
Hi, Jay. I'm Siyoung. You can call me Bill as well. My part, I'm going to talk about what were the results of this study. Before we continue, we should have a clear mind that we have a lecture capture group versus control group. Control group means there's no lecture recording provided. There are 4 results in this study. The first one is students in lecture capture group rated the course slightly higher than the students in control group. Probably the lecture recordings, they just gave more positive feedbacks of this course. Second one is students use the lecture recording as a substitute for attending the lectures rather than use the recordings to review the lecture stuffs. The third one is attendance for the lecture capture group was never higher than the control group's attendance in any single session. And the last one is there was a great number of students in lecture capture group. They just didn't complete a large portion of coursework, such as research assignments and they're slightly student attending the class, and even they just skipping the exams. So these 4 results are basically I found in this study.
and I will be presenting Juhi's section on the discussion of what the results meant. Previous research suggested positive associations between video lectures and academic achievement, with small impact on attendance. However, this study revealed contrasting results. Majority of students expressed a favorable opinion of lecture recordings and desired their availability in all classes. However, a low rate of online lecture viewing was observed, as seen in prior studies as well. Students didn't seem to appreciate the benefits of the video recordings. Instead of using the recordings to help their understanding, they mostly used them as a replacement for going to classes. Offering online lectures was associated with a negative effect on both attendance and achievement, challenging other studies that proved video lectures actually enhanced learning. If students attended less because of online lectures, it made their academic performance worse. So online lectures were affecting attendance, which also affected the students' results. There are a few reasons why the results might be different to previous studies. Firstly, the study was a quasi-experimental study that compared two sections of students in the same course and semester and compiled the actual attendance and grades of students. Before this, either self-reported data or headcounts were used. That had no correlation to an individual's academic performance. Secondly, previous research also involved students with higher levels of academic maturity. However, this study focused on new students who might be less academically mature. However, limitations exist. The course structure, where attendance was given an incentive and exams were based mainly on lecture material, may limit generalizability. The preference for video recordings was not found to positively influence attendance, challenging the assumptions. The study also suggested that negative impact on attendance was specific to a subgroup of students within the lecture capture class.
Hi, my name is Nick Doris, and I'll be presenting what conclusions can be drawn. The study suggested that the availability of lecture recording has a negative impact on the in-person attendance. Attendance records for the class with lecture capture technology were consistently lower than those for the control section and even a previous course, indicating that some students chose not to attend the in-person lectures when recordings were available. We also identified a positive relationship between attendance and student performance. Students who attended the lectures regularly tended to perform a little better in the course. Attendance mediated the relationship between the class and achievement. That was between the capture and lecture capture classes and the control. When attendance was taken into account, the researchers found that there was no significant difference in achievement between the two class sections. This may also suggest that the impact of lecture capture technology on achievement was largely driven by its effect on attendance. While majority of students had favorable opinions of lecture recordings and wanted them available in all classes, a significant portion of students used the lecture recordings as a substitute for attending lectures. This may add some variability in how students use the technology, may have contributed into the observed negative effects on attendance. So you have to keep that in mind. And finally is the impact of non-participation. The study identified a group of students in the lecture capture class who attended fewer lectures, completed fewer assignments, and skipped exams. When these non-participating students were excluded from the analysis, the difference in attendance and achievement between the two class sections disappeared. This suggests that lecture capture technology may have a specific rather than a global effect on attendance and achievement. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Ford. This is my critiques on the study of If You Record It, Some Won't Come. We will be discussing three different topics of the critiques: the single course context, limited generalizability, and use of self-reported data. In the study, there can be critiques for how it is very single course oriented. This is only about the first year psychology course. This is not attributed to all different types of courses and different types of learning you can do in a university. So therefore, there can be differences in whether or not people attend these classes and whether they learn the same material or if it's harder. In limited generalizability, these students are only first year students. Therefore, it can be hard to use this study to find that all students study better with recordings or study worse with recordings, as first years are not always the main popular group of the university. And the last part of my critique is that there is a use of self-reported data. These students do not always tell exactly what they did, their behaviors, and they might have response bias and different types of stimuli to change their perception and how they answer these results. However, if they monitored just based off of their grades and not what self-reported data suggests, this would be a little bit easier to follow. Thank you very much.